All right, 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Inland Wetlands Agency on the 22nd of March to order. Tonight we have Annie, Barbara Williams, myself, Eunice Sutphin, and I'm going to appoint Gary Robbins for Dave Scott and I think that's it. Yeah. I don't believe we have any public hearings tonight, Deb. That's correct. Okay. Public communications? Any public communications? Town manager correspondence?
So that's in your packet. Clearly it's a generic property owner letter. It was sent to all the chairs of all the land use agencies, and so that's why we put it in the packet, so you could all see it. That at some point, about Long Point Bridge, it's been. We're gonna start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
There's Courtney. I see things right there. I'm gonna do just.
When was the last time? Didn't they do something to that bridge a few years ago?
They've been just
Not
talking
enough.
about it for very, very long.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to note that Courtney is here.
Okay. Then I'll appoint Courtney for Barbara.
Yeah.
Block. Courtney, you're gonna be a voting member for Barbara Block tonight.
Okay. All right, that's good. You can hear it.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 8th, 2023, the minutes?
I have a question about it. Wasn't Barbara Block here? Because I remember you said to me, I was on the phone and
Barbara
she
Block.
came in
She did.
and that she's not,
She's members present. Barbara Block.
oh, okay. I always get confused when I read those.
Anyone
well.
want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a
Please.
motion to approve.
Good.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of March 8th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. New applications tonight. Looks like we have one for Aquatic Plains Park Lighting, 150 Fort Hill Road.
I am Mark Berry, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Have people hear him? Because it seems kind of soft.
Okay,
There you go.
that's it.
We can hear you.
Test, okay. All right, I'm still Mark Berry, Director of Parks and Recreation. The proposed project tonight is to install 54 LED architectural lights around the walking path at Aquatic Plains Park. The reason that we're doing this is we're trying to extend the available time that folks can have access to the park. We've seen over the last few years, particularly since COVID, a considerable increase in the number of people walking around there. And, this winter, after 4:30, it's difficult for folks to do that. So by putting up these solar powered architectural lights, again, that will extend use. The lights can be controlled, so they wouldn't necessarily be on all night. We could make sure that they go off at a reasonable time that doesn't cause too much disturbance for any of the neighbors. And in fact, these lights, the way they're designed, they shine right down. And the photometric plan shows that the lights wouldn't be broadcast out, to the neighbors. They're about 15 feet high. They're 4-inch poles. They're going directly in the ground. We would only dig holes for the number of poles that we knew we could put in. The dirt that comes out is going to be used to pack in around the poles. We will be doing whatever wetland protection requirements you require of us. We have proposed a couple of different things in the areas that have dug up. We would put like straw matting And also we have 120 feet of silk fence in the area closest to the wetland. There's 54 poles going in around the walking path and also the parking lot, because it's important that that's lit up too. If we're going to extend use, we can't have people pulling into a dark parking lot and then walking around the path.
Are they gonna be on the inside or the outside?
They are going to be on the outside. So there are some inland wetlands there. That's obviously why I'm here. There is one pole that's actually in the wetland, and there are 5 poles that are in the upland review area. And
You have a map for that, just because we. do
Yes.
stuff that
Coming right,
others
it's coming right.
That might not know where the wetlands are on this property.
and this is, do we need to turn it?
Oh, okay.
This is Chad Frost from Kenton Frost. They were the landscape architects that put this plan together. And we also have the soil scientist that did the work, James Cowan. He is zooming in if anyone has any particular questions about the soil.
Go to it, Jen.
Well, it is, as far as I'm concerned, from all the work we normally do, probably, I think, one of the easiest ones. So this is Peconic Plains Park. This perimeter is the walking path that we're all used to. What's labeled here, the field house, that's the bathrooms, the concession stand, the boulevard parking as you come in, this is the parking lot. Obviously, all of the circles are the lights that are proposed, as Mark mentioned. They are all the solar powered, so there's a solar panel on the top of the fixture, the lights and everything underneath of it, and then it's a simple pole, it's direct burial. The only digging, the only soil excavation is just for the pole, so we don't have any wiring, we don't have any conduit runs. And as Mark alluded to, and as you've probably all seen as you drive along Route 1 in Fort Hill, this area is poorly draining down in that area. It's not a functional wetland, it's 100% lawn, it's mowed, maintained. And the walking path kind of just goes through the edge of it, as was flagged. It is slowly draining, but we have basically, this light, that light are in that upland review area on this side. We have one light right there, and then these last 2 here within that upland review area. So extremely minimal disturbance, because it's literally just the pole itself. This is not going in with concrete, so it's literally just the pole, direct burial, recompact the soil that came out of the hole, and the light goes on, and that's it. So I think extremely simple. I would say dark sky compliant light fixture. Nothing goes up, everything goes down. There is photometrics on here. These are very dim lights. They are not casting a ton of light all over it. It will be great to have the pools of light out there, but it really will be pools of light from pole to pole as opposed to floodlights like you might be used to on athletic fields. So extremely low level amount of light just to provide safe access around. And that's my short introduction.
Excellent.
While you have James Cohen here, do you want just to talk about the wetland for the agency? Promote him or just let him talk. Oh, these are his hands. They switch. Oh wait. Oh, there it is.
Okay,
There you go.
can you,
Perfect.
okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess the thing I would just say the main function of this wetland is drainage. It's at the low corner of the field, so any runoff or groundwater would enter this area, and it exits via a culvert in the southeast corner of the site. Where I have reviewed the plans and where the the pole that's in the wetland is, it's an area that's seasonally saturated. did not observe any overland flow, so soil disturbance, even if it's minimal, is not likely to transport or be washed or sediment into the wetlands. Just with standard protection, I assume the work would be done in that area when there's no immediate rain in the forecast, so the installation could go in and be completed the same day. So I don't anticipate any significant impact, to be very minimal, just actually placing the pole in the wetland.
Thank you. Gary, you have a question? Go ahead.
How are you gonna how are you making the holes?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
I think we'd probably just use an auger.
Just a hand auger? I mean, not a hand auger, but you know, like a,
Public
Right.
Works right now is,
Yes, Public Works has committed to installing these. There's a pretty significant lead time for these. The last time I checked, it was 22 weeks. So
Wow.
once we go through the permitting process, we would order them. They would arrive probably late summer, and Public Works said that they could commit to installing them in the fall.
Good timing too. Any other questions?
It's not really wetland related. I was just wondering about kids running into the poles when they're playing games and not looking.
Hey, that's all part of growing up.
That's why they're on the
Dude,
outside.
this is
I know.
being recorded, right?
they're outside the safety zone of the field.
Right.
Okay, so every field has
Yes.
a required safety zone, which is pretty substantial, and the flag poles and other, you know, poles within the fields are further inside of all these, so they're far enough out. But looks like Courtney has a question.
Go ahead, Courtney.
How deep will you?
Oops.
Say that one more time.
How deep will you be digging for these?
I think it's 3 feet.
Yeah. there's bullshit. Yeah, it's just over a 3 foot hole, probably a max, I would say a 4 foot, and then it's a 3 foot.
Yeah, it's not really a wetlands question. It's more of a durability question.
Yep, this is how this pool is designed, is for direct burial. It goes in, it basically kind of flatten the end of the pole, so it creates a wedge shape to hold itself down and to keep itself from turning. And then there's also a rebar put across it again to avoid any conflict.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yes.
Any other questions?
again, I have a question, but it has no bearing. Well, I have a comment.
All these new guys.
I come from an astronomy family, so we're very sensitive to light pollution, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are directing the light down, not up, in case there's an astronomy club out there.
That's great. I would entertain a motion to classify this application.
I move that it's minor.
I make a motion to classify as minor.
I make a motion to classify it as minor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to classify the Paquonic Plains Park lighting application as minor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. I think we have to wait to give you,
Yeah, sorry.
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
They have to.
if it was in the olden days, we would just act on it, but I think we have a certain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We have 2 meetings a month. Is that-
We do,
Yeah.
yeah.
oh,
Yep.
gotcha.
And then
But-
we are waiting back for a couple comments too, so we've gotten a
Yeah.
couple, so.
But I don't think you guys need to come back. Let me just say, do you think that we need some more presentation from these guys? So, just saying.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, any other new applications that are not on this little list? Pending applications, Door Driveway, 0 Elm Street South. Noack.
I am promoting Ed Wenke, who is the engineer for that project. All right, Ed, they were.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we
Yes.
can hear you, Ed.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, the map.
Well, what are you gonna share? Are you gonna share your screen, Ed?
I can do that.
Okay, otherwise we can put ours out.
I'll do both.
Let me just make sure I'm doing the right one here. Can you see my cursor moving?
Ken,
Does that sound muffled to anybody but me?
Yes, he does.
Yes, or am I just losing my hearing?
Very
No.
much.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you all hear me?
Hang on, Ed, something's funny with the audio.
it's because we're trying out a new system.
Okay.
It's,
Oh, okay. It's not me.
no,
When we last left, I believe it was a week ago, you had directed us to try to move the house, the proposed house here a little bit further to the west, outside of the upland review area, and you indicated that if we got about 2/3 of the house outside of it and 1/3 in, that would be acceptable. We've accomplished that. We've moved it over, still trying to maintain those vistas from the people in the back. But I think we've accomplished what you wanted us to do here. In the colorized version basically shows 1/3 of the house within that upland review area and 2/3 of it outside of it. The driveway essentially, it essentially stays the same within the upland review area, although it shifted over a little bit. The amount of grading, we were able to pretty much maintain the 15% there. So basically your volumes, your fill volumes haven't changed.
What was the last words?
so the fill volumes have not
Fill
changed.
volume has not changed. Okay, thanks.
I want to know if you're setting that house beyond, above that pile of rocks that were blasted out or below.
See, piles of-
This pile of rocks or the pile of rocks up above?
Oh,
I think-
yeah, up above.
I think you mean
These-
the
all
rocks
these-
above.
Yeah, all of these rocks are basically.
Sort of in the middle, there's a pile of rocks.
That's this pile right here. We're gonna be
Oh.
using portions of this with some of the riprap down below. And the neighbor, one of the neighbors here apparently is gonna take some of those boulders as well. I believe it's the people in the back here, they need to line their upland review area or something with boulders. Or at least mark it out, and they were gonna be using some of these boulders as well. I can't tell you if all of those boulders are gonna be gone. I don't know that they will be. But the pile will get smaller.
Why did they do all that blasting?
I don't have an answer to that. I don't know.
I do. So an adjacent property, that was permitted, a while ago, it literally is just ledge and they are blasting all of that to make, a foundation.
Oh. So I was still trying to figure out, that's a separate property?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Oh, I get it. So I was thinking of the rocks at the top then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Yeah,
There's two big piles at the top. You can somewhat see it in the picture there.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
can see where it says Campbell Road.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those. are the
Here,
rocks
right
that-
here.
Yep, those are the rocks from Ralston.
oh,
And you can see a lot of the pile is really off this property, just a little of that pile
Correct.
is on it.
Yep.
You see that blue line is the property line?
which blue line?
See how it cuts in there?
This blue line right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So a lot of that is
Oh.
off the property,
Oh, I
but just
see.
some of it is on.
because it looks like some of that stuff is dumped over the pink markers.
Okay, I'm not sure what the pink markers are, but we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, Ed, thank you for accommodating our request to move that house 2/3 out of the wetland, the upland review area, excuse me, and 1/3 in. I appreciate it. Any other comments on this property at this point?
once again, has nothing to do with wetlands, but I was just wondering about the grade of the driveway as it comes into the road onto Elm Street. Is that,
Grade
I
of the
I
driveway,
can't tell, is it gonna be flat?
It'll be flat, yeah.
So they
it's
won't
gonna be a
slide down
3%
in
grade.
nice-
Yeah, it's 3%. And Ed, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 3% at the road entrance and also at the flat part before the driveway. And then 15 in between.
Yeah, basically 3% from the edge of pavement, running into about here. So basically running up about the first 50, 75 feet of the driveway is at 3% of the gentle vertical curve, going to 15% for about 80 feet. And then it flattens out to 3% up here.
And one more question for me, just so I do my due diligence. So what is the closest that you guys with their machines are going to be coming to the actual wetland boundary there on that?
That would be our limited disturbance right here. And if you would allow me just to open up. 1 second. The house itself is going to be 94 feet from the closest wetland.
They say 94?
94, correct. Yep.
That's the house itself.
Yeah,
Basically, the limited disturbance is basically running this line to the wetland area. That's going to be approximately about 70, 75 feet.
okay. And you need to just be over there to have all the machines, is that right?
We need to be there to catch grade as we're going to be grading this slope
I'll
out
be
to
grading,
build the
okay,
house. Yeah.
okay. I guess I'm just wondering, maybe if we should consider having some plantings in there so that the people that mow didn't get over enthusiastic heading towards the wetland.
Heading this way. Well, this isn't our property, so we wouldn't be mowing.
I know that's not, but still since that whole corner is still in the upland review area, you know what I'm talking about? I get that they would want to mow around the house, but like maybe just some plantings. I don't know what that squirrely line is right there. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
That's a limited disturbance.
Yeah, this is the
So
limited
sorry.
disturbance right here. That's good. That's the staked limited disturbance.
That's the edge of
Can't
disturbance.
understand.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if we might have a row of plantings of not trees, but shrubs there so that wetland species, shrubs. Blah, blah, blah. Just,
Well, I mean, it could very well be that the owner may want to put a fence up too, and the fence would be more effective at keeping anybody from crossing over the line anyway. Are you trying to say you don't want them just mowing anything beyond the limited disturbance that we're proposing? Because that's really only a few feet off the property line to begin with. It's so tight in there.
So what he had said was the owner may want to put a fence there to keep them away from the wetland. That was one thing that maybe.
I lost the audio there.
Ed, you still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I can't really hear you. Yeah, I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
Yeah, the audio is pretty quiet right now.
There we go. I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Hello? Well, if you can hear me, I just want to point out another thing we added here. We did add native shrubs and plantings down here in the lower southeast corner. Basically, that's along the lower portion of this slope before it hits that drainage ditch. So we've got a planting schedule up here. We're putting pepper bush in and some inkberry bush in. Boy, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Okay, so right now, Dave is showing the agency in her copy, our shared
versus the area where there's the big like.
This is Courtney. I can't hear either.
Hear me when I'm talking right now?
I can't. I mean, just barely.
We're just trying to do the best we can, and I think we have a good sense of this. So now could you just talk to me about the fence that you were just talking about?
No, one of the things that Ed had mentioned was that it's very tight in between the upland disturbance, the limit of disturbance on the western side of the property. And he said that the owner may be considering putting a fence along this edge here, which would keep them off of that. I understand you're talking, that's what he had said before, that the part you all missed, so I just.
I mean, this looks like it's about 25 feet.
Where,
I
think it's between the grading. The
Yeah.
grading property line.
Are we still sharing screen?
yes,
Okay, I've got it right up here where you can see this line if you follow my cursor.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's the silt fence and the limited disturbance.
yes,
It's right up against the property line.
yes.
There's no space.
So the silt fence and the limit of disturbance is right up against the property line. Yeah, now what?
Well, I mean, that basically that's the disturbed area. So I'm not sure what planting bushes along that would do.
I guess what I'm saying, Ed, is I'm not talking about going towards the property line. I'm saying after your construction is finished, then you might put. I guess I'm suggesting that there might be a line of trees inside the silk fence towards your house. Not trees, shrubs.
But still running this line, correct?
No, inside.
In other words, you're done with your construction, and then afterwards, you would just have a visual border there that would stop people from mowing right up to the already encroached upon upland review area. That's, I'm gonna be done with my conversation here. I guess I've made my point. I'm a little frustrated with the hearing.
I know.
I'm sorry. Other than that, I'm comfortable here. But that would be what it needs for my vote.
Just not lawn,
I'm sorry.
just not lawn.
Well, the less on, you know, people,
Yeah.
they tend to just keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if there's a line of whatever they like.
native vegetation.
But just to be clear, the bushes would want to basically run parallel to the property line, maybe 10 foot inside.
Right,
Okay,
Yes, that's right.
right.
Okay. That's fine.
And put inside the property line. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Anybody else want to have any comments on this? Do we have
I do.
a motion?
I had sent over, sorry, I had,
Yep.
we passed along a draft motion and we can amend that to address your piece. So let me pass that out right now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so I read this earlier and I need to be just a little bit more specific with I really love wording like no activity within feet of the wetland. Sure. So if you guys could help me, just, you know the way I like to do it, Deb, just a rough. I think he said 70, did he say 74 feet? What did he say?
So just keep in mind, there's a wetland down.
Oh,
adjacent to
right.
Elm Street, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and sorry about that. Yeah. So basically then along
The eastern side of the
the
property.
eastern side of the property. Is that way north?
Yes, that would be one correct.
So along the northeastern side of the property,
Eastern.
yeah, I'm seeing that.
North is straight up.
So
Yeah,
east of the house?
east is right.
East
Yeah.
east of the house.
North arrow's right here.
Yeah, so I think that might be great, Andy, to just go with that direction, so. It's too bad we didn't have a wetland flag right here. So basically, I just wanted the wording from here to here. What that just. That's what.
Ed, do you want to stop your share?
Plantings.
And then you can see what they're pointing at. Okay.
You want to point in there again so we can see it specifically?
So I would like wording in the motion that defines the limit of disturbance from here to here, please.
All right,
Yeah, I mean, that is the property line. Essentially. So they're not authorized to go over the property line.
But
So
you
they're
want
just
to push
moving
us
up to
10
the
feet
property
in.
line. Yeah,
10 feet.
that's the silt fence is essentially on the property line there.
All right, well. Okay, I guess that shoots that down.
I have a question regarding number one here, okay? Since a good portion of the property is in the wetlands, the upland review area, how does this applies to the entire upland review area or only the area east of the house? The second line, the second one, this permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions, blah, blah, 1.
Wait, so I'm trying to understand which part, are you talking about the first part or the second part?
Second,
Second part.
right. There's no clearing, cutting, alteration, or dumping of materials shall occur within the upland review area that is not specified on the approved plan.
Exactly. So no addition, so where they.
That covers the entire upland review area, okay, that the house is partially on, correct?
It says that the only thing that is authorized is what is on this plan.
Yes,
I understand.
That's
Yep.
it. No other work in the upland review area is authorized other than what is on this plan.
I share the wording of this is, I guess, for me, I'm just not used to it.
Can we just condition that after they build it, then the plantings go in and
Yeah.
condition what those are?
Right.
So maybe around that side of the house where it's been disturbed, we can ask for specific plantings to control erosion.
well, the plantings you're talking about aren't erosion control. Plantings you're talking about are basically gonna be serving the purpose as a buffer.
Right.
As a barrier, basically.
What did he say?
That barrier.
no, yeah, you got that. Basically, what Ed had said is that basically where the plantings that you're proposing are gonna serve more as a barrier than they are actually gonna be for erosion control. It's to keep them
That's what
off.
I said.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's what I want him to be a
Yep.
barrier.
That
I want
works.
him to be. I want him to be a barrier.
Yep.
So you don't think that anything specific should happen with the slope? I mean, that could just go to grass.
Well, they're gonna grade that as they need.
The owner may have a landscape plan at the end of the day, but he hasn't developed anything yet. We just trying to figure out where the house is going at this point.
Yeah, well, the only other thing is, again, to, you know. The only other way around it is to have them be out of the upland review area, which we've already suggested that we would feel comfortable with them having a third of the house in the upland review area, so I don't think that's. At this juncture.
Yeah. I mean.
Particularly favorable.
You know what else does, it seems a little weird that the erosion controls don't cover the slope underneath. It's to the side. It's not below the house. So where you'd expect water and erosion to happen.
The erosion
No.
controls, I'm pretty sure are coming down the whole.
There, so this mark right here is actually the erosion controls that follow it down, that basically follow the contours of the driveway and the house itself. That
So
makes-
they're ENS in place.
Okay.
So what's your question, Amy?
Once again, nothing to do with the wetlands. Just keeping the soil on the slope.
Well, I mean, we like to assume that good ENS accomplishes that. I mean, if it's attended to and if it's made sure that the plastic is in, the hay bales are there. You have hay bales and plastic, right, Ed?
Yeah, we have sediment fence and we have
Sediments.
check dam, sediment fence check dams running along the side of that sediment fence. We also have hay bale check dams coming down the drainage swale. So yeah, we've got plenty of sediment containment.
So what it's showing you, I'll mention it. So right there, while this is the, while they're doing the work, you can see these are actually hay bale check dams. There's one there, there's one there, there's
Thank
one down below, there's another one over here. And that was, I think that was the thought too, with putting the plantings down here to protect the water, the intermittent water course down in the area here. Now, again, you're proposing to add vegetation here. You want are you talking the whole section from the house all the way down, or?
Well, like I said, to me, I mean, it would be awesome if it was all the way down. It seems to me it'd be kind of nice if they just carried that up. Visually, it would be nice, but. I'm just. Are there hay bales here too, along with the said fence?
No, not on this side here. I think most of it's actually sloped towards the other side. You can see there's actually a swale depression on this side.
Yeah. So I guess I'm trying to speak to Annie's concern about loss of material towards the wetland.
I didn't realize that there were consecutive,
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel.
So you're good with that?
I'm good with
Okay.
that.
All right.
Your concern is post-construction.
Right.
My
not
concern,
during
that's correct,
construction.
that's right.
That's why I was looking at this, from the standpoint of post-construction.
Yep.
Okay. And not necessarily what's on the building plans, but subsequently what the owner was going to do.
Well, but this will be on the, if we condition this, it'll
Yeah.
be on the plan that they're gonna plant. But they'll have to put those plantings on the plan. All right, does anybody have any words for what I'm trying to accomplish in number 2?
So you are like to say that native plantings, and let me clarify, you were saying 10 feet on the inside of where the sediment fence was, is what you would like?
Yes, please.
All right, so basically,
Native shrubs.
native shrubs will be, shall be planted 10 feet off the limited disturbance on the east side of the property post construction.
Well done, David.
We want to set a north and south boundary after that.
That's what I asked before. If that's, yeah,
What would that be? The property boundaries in north, south, or,
No, 10 feet inside of it.
well, that's this way.
right. That's how
you
we,
know,
but where does
what
it
about
start
up
and where does it
down?
end? Yeah.
Where does it
It's-
end? Up
It
north and
ends in the
south, I'm
bushes at the
asking.
bottom and goes all the way up to where that one line cuts in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think along that whole property line, yeah.
There isn't, I mean, you could, there is. There is an
Native
existing
shrubs should be
tree
planted too.
that's shown on this up here past the house. So. When you say the house, you want to go basically from here all the way up to the existing tree?
Yes.
Okay.
West. 10 feet west of the limit of disturbance.
Can I ask one thing on this? Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
he wants to ask a question. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead, Ed.
Again, Ed, I can hear you, I just can't understand you.
Oh, I'm sorry. If the owner decides he wants to put a fence in down his property line,
That's where I thought we had the issue.
that would basically address your issue of no encroachment any closer to the actual wetland.
So you say it's less disturbance and what?
No, it's possible that the owner may want to they want to install a fence along there rather than shrubs.
Yeah, and it does, and we're not talking about, a stockade fence. It could be a post and rail fence, something low profile. I don't think anybody wants anything high there because everybody wants to maintain the views. But I mean, the main concern is future, encroachment of lawn mowing or clearing closer to the wetland than our property line, which, like we know, we can't do anyway. The property line is going to stop us. A fence will stop you. And I'd like to be able to at least give the owner those two options of either providing the plantings or putting in something like a low profile fence. Does that adequately address what you're looking to do?
I'm gonna have to quit because I can't, okay. I
So what Ed is asking is that if it's possible that the owner decides he'd rather put a low profile fence along there instead of shrubs, is that okay? What you're trying to do?
Except that he said that he wants to put the fence on the property line. Eunice wants pushes 10 feet in.
Yeah, that's right. I do want to push it 10 feet in. If he wants to put the fence 10 feet in from the property line, he can. If he wants to put the fence the same place that I want to put the shrubs, Ed, sure. I guess that would be fine. Again, not really, because I feel like shrubs stop people from mowing, whereas fence, people like to, depending on what fence, if it's low profile, say it's one of those, 2-board fences that everybody's hot for right now, then they weed whack around the base and they try to make that. My whole idea, again, is to recognize that you're already in the upland review area. I understand that the site has been altered. I get all that, but I'm just really trying to remind you that you're already in the upland review area and we have jurisdiction.
No, understood.
Yeah. So if he wants to come back after he gets it built and he wants to get an amendment and make a case for having a fence there instead of shrubs, he can, but right now I would rather keep it as native shrubs.
Okay. I'll let him know.
All right. Anybody besides me want to make this motion, even though I'm not supposed to make the motion if I'm sharing? Is that all right?
Well, we got to get the wording here.
Well, I think Dave has helped me with the wording, so so the wording I have is number 2, native shrubs shall be planted 10 feet west of the limit of disturbance along
The eastern
the
side,
eastern.
Yep.
Does that sound right?
property line.
Eastern property line, correct? Yep. And I think, do you want to specify stretching from the existing tree on the, what is that, the northeast corner of the house? Hold on, I'm writing this down as well.
From the existing tree, oh boy, now we're getting really wordy.
Well, I want to cover what you're trying to say.
Existing tree,
Or we can also say, or stretching from the northeastern property, house corner.
perfect.
How's
I like
that?
better? Northeastern property, northeastern.
House corner. To the,
South to the, basically to the plants on the bottom.
to the proposed plantings
In the southeast corner
in the southeast corner. Yep.
Of the property.
of the property.
You guys can fire me anytime, just say the word. I make a motion to approve Inland Wetlands Agency 23-01 dirt driveway 0 Elm Street South for the placement of 525 cubic yards of fill and disturbance of 11,800 square feet within the upland review area. Activity is associated with the construction of a new single-family house and paved driveway connecting to Elm Street South frontage. This application there's no loss of wetland or watercourse associated with this application. The erosion and sediment control plan will provide adequate protection for the wetlands during construction. This permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions in the following modification. No clearing, cutting, alterations, or dumping of material shall occur within the upland review area that is not specified on the approved plans. Number 2, native shrubs shall be planted 10 feet west of the limit of disturbance along the eastern property line stretching from the northeast house corner southerly to the proposed plantings
In the southeast corner of the
in the southeast corner.
of the property.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any obstructions? So moved.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ed. Ed, I think if you have any more applications, you better come here.
He's in Florida.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, now we're on pending applications, Brown New Home. Oh, I hope that here's, oh, thank goodness he's here.
Yes, yes.
So far, so good.
Did you?
It's crazy.
Okay.
It was very.
It's not just.
Yeah, no, I have,
I have my hearing aids on. I
So
couldn't hear a
much.
thing.
Okay,
Okay, I'm Paul Lucier. I'm the builder of the house at 49 Prospect Street. And well, I think I've met you once before, but
Barbara Williams.
with these folks a few times already, so.
Where is Prospect Street?
Prospect Street runs parallel to West Mystic
Oh,
or Allen Street. Well,
Oh,
Street turns into
okay.
West Mystic, so it's parallel. And this is the end of the cul-de-sac, so a little confusing, but no, this is the cul-de-sac right here, and the house sits right at the end of the cul-de-sac. So just to bring you up to speed a little bit, what happened was there's a tree right here in the upland review area. And the tree is basically like shaped like this, rotted in the middle.
I do, yeah.
so this is the one. they
it's a
cut
red
down.
maple.
Right, so it all began that we wanted to cut a tree down.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want it to fall on the house. Bunch of limbs started to fall. And we thought, probably a good idea to cut the tree down. So we came to ask, and we said, when we came to ask, we thought, while we're doing that, maybe we could put some plantings in and listed the help of a landscaper. And then we hired Jim
Oh.
Cowan
Oh,
to do a very good landscape plan for us. At the last meeting, we had asked to move this line to 25 feet and then blend it back into 40 feet. We now that off, we went back to the 40 feet
oh,
that
it's
we were
huge.
approved that originally, and we left it where it was approved that originally. We kept the plantings exactly the way that they are, that Jim Cowan approved. I mean, that Jim Cowan designed, and we still want to cut the tree down because it is really leaning toward the house. And then we also had another arborist come out, well, a company that does, and I've made some copies actually. This is from All Habitat Services. You want one of these? And on the second page of this, it shows how, what there is in this area, there's a lot of invasives, Phragmites. I'm learning a lot about invasive plants. Something called common reeds, which are a very persistent invasive plant. And they proposed a plan that, you know, it takes a while, it doesn't just happen. The first, you know, they would come in and they'd cut these things down and they would treat them with something that's friendly to the wetland. And but they don't die right away. They, you know, they would cut them down. When the sprouts come up, they'd spray them. It takes a few years to really kind of get rid of all these things completely. A benefit to that is as they do that, you'll get some natural growth of some natural plantings that are there. But we still want to put in all these other plantings. Talked to Deb about it a little bit yesterday, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to put these plantings in right away. It's going to take 3 years to kill everything else. So when you try to kill the other stuff, you can also kill these brand new plants. So it's not a good idea to do that, the new plantings for a few years anyway. So, but we want this to be a multi-year comprehensive plan that maintains the wetland, protects the wetland, and gets the tree out from hurting the house. And like James Cowan said, it would really beautify that whole wetland, we'd have access to it, we'd be able to maintain it. Keep these plants looking beautiful, it'd be a nice place to walk, we'd probably bring birds in, different things that would be in that area, so. It seems to make sense to us to do this. And that's what we're basically coming to you. The homeowner had a couple of things and I made a copy, but made it so small I can hardly read it. But they asked if the wetland permit was approved, that the tree be removed immediately, and I think we all kind of agree the tree needs to go as soon as possible. And then what would they need to plant the trees immediately, the shrubbery immediately, and I think this plan that we just got says no, you can't really plant everything immediately, you have to kind of wait. So I think that kind of answers their question with that. The other question was, would they be allowed to plant these plants themselves? Or would they have to hire someone to do it? So that's just a question that we wanted to. And if the tree falls on its own, what would happen then? Say that it doesn't get approved. If the tree falls, how do we deal with that? Are we able to go in and we maintain, take the tree out of there? We're trying to do this in such a way that we take the tree out without bringing a machine in there. We haven't finished the final landscaping of the lot yet, so it's kind of the time to take the tree out. And well, that's where we're at. We feel like the tree would come out, we would treat these things for several years, do our plantings as time goes on, and maintain the well.
So just to remind the agency, a permit for this house construction was granted last year. And one of the conditions was that this tree remain in place,
Right.
which is initially why they submitted this application, is to remove the tree. They got an arborist opinion that it's dangerous and it needs to come down. Along with that, they had hoped to reduce the upland review area to 25 feet. Supplementing it with some native plantings, and at the last meeting, you all indicated you were not interested in reducing that upland review area. So these plans reflect the original upland review area of 40 feet with the removal of that tree.
And though so I'm just gonna preface my comment by, this is a wetland,
Sure.
and we've already agreed to allow a certain amount of activity to be happening closer than we might normally.
Sure.
You're a nice guy, they're nice kids, we're really nice people.
Absolutely.
All of it. So now, and the tree I get, I'm all over the tree.
Yeah.
I see that it's obviously in a situation. But now this seems to have morphed into, you're gonna modify almost in the wetland, pretty close to the wetland. You're gonna mow, you're gonna spray. And I know all of these are wetland approved sprays.
I understand.
Yeah.
One thing I can say, and I think Cindy was here at the first meeting, one of the neighbors who had a concern about the tree, mainly because it absorbs a lot of water. And that's why we went to this planting plan, because by cutting the tree down, we want to try to help to continue to absorb that.
I don't have a problem with the planting plan. I have a problem with mowing in that close to wetland, certainly in an upland review. I think you saw it
Sure,
through the last,
sure.
it just, in my 30+ years sitting on this agency, that's what happens, is that people get mowing
Yeah.
and then they get mowing a little bit more, and then it's really pretty, and then it's really, and it's not it's not the wetland buffer that it.
How about if we just leave it at 40 feet? Tell them to plant a new tree.
Well, actually,
That's part of the plan.
Yeah.
There are two current
Yep.
trees that are there, that are about 20 feet tall, and that was one of the suggestions that Jim Coward had mentioned. That we protect those two trees when we cut this tree down. And that we leave those trees, we allow those trees to explode. And one thing I learned was that this tree, even if we cut it down, we won't take the stump out, we'll cut it down close to the
Maybe come
ground.
back.
It'll definitely sprout and it'll continue to live, it'll continue to absorb
It's a
water.
swamp maple.
Why is it necessary to remove it after you cut it down?
They're not, they're gonna keep the stumps gonna.
I know the stump's gonna stay, but the tree could stay.
No,
Tree
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 can't
could
stay.
fall there and be fine.
Well, the tree falls can fall.
Yeah,
No, leave it on the ground,
Yeah.
she means. The
It's
dead
habitat.
tree. Yeah, mother log and all that.
yeah, I'm liking what I'm just hearing there, so maybe just, did you want to speak to?
I did, just to the Phragmites. The Phragmites are not within this planting area.
That's right.
Okay, they're up closer to the house. Okay, I just want to
Okay,
make sure
yeah.
you know.
They are right here.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Phragmites are right
okay.
here.
It's even, I think it.
And are those the result of the water that comes down from the street?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like up and through here,
Yep.
yeah.
And I see what you're saying about leaving the tree, but you could say, just drop the tree,
Yeah,
but then when you drop the tree, it's gonna land.
Well,
no,
you
not
can,
necessarily.
you can cut it or put a rope on it, so it'd be pulling it when you cut it down. I mean, there are ways to,
This is a pretty huge.
It's a pretty-
It's definitely gonna fall on us.
well, half of
Unless
it
you-
is
unless
falling
you-
that way.
that's
The other
true,
half
that's
goes the
true.
other direction.
That's true. You could cut it, and leave the other side of the tree. That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
I have
That's
to
a
ask
drop
a
it.
question of
And
you.
then you have
Okay,
pieces everywhere.
why? Why would we want them to leave this tree?
Just so that you're not working in the wetland. So you're not down there with heavy machinery.
There won't be heavy machine.
Yeah, so they
It's gonna
can-
be locked off bit by bit.
Right,
You're gonna take
slide-
it off,
exactly,
manual
yeah.
movements, Pull it out. And if there's
Just
any
like a
machine-
bite,
If
you
there's
know?
any machines, they'll be on this side of the silt fence and they'll pull it out with ropes and that. A lot larger. Definitely not our intention to hurt them.
And Deb, do you want to help me a little bit more with your point that the Phragmites is close to the, so are you suggesting that you think that's fine to?
I just, from what you were saying, it sounded to me like you were thinking these Phragmites and the invasive species are actually in the areas where they're going to be planting these new plants.
Okay,
And they're not, they're further, they're more outside.
okay.
So it's not like they're going into the upland review area and then just, mowing and getting rid of invasive species there. It's actually outside of that.
Where's the common reed? Do we know where that is?
Well, that's Phragmites.
That's a Phragmites.
That's
I've
Phragmites.
never heard
And that's,
Phragmites called.
So
Oh, yeah,
if they're not in the same area, what is the necessity to wait then with the plantings? If you're not, or why are we waiting for the plantings if they're working somewhere else?
I guess that's, thank you for that, Gary. That's a good.
Yeah, I
point.
mean, I think
Yeah.
the only reason is that the Phragmites are upslope.
Not to
So,
mention, this whole area is full of thickets, so there's no way to plant anything unless you take that stuff.
That's where I was.
but that's
going.
not
He
in
said-
your plan. Your plan just says that he's dealing with Phragmites.
Correct.
Right, he's not, doesn't address any other invasives in the upland review area, right?
Oh,
There really
okay.
wouldn't be any way
Yeah.
to plant that stuff unless you have that, so.
Yeah, see, that's where I was
Maybe we
going.
just don't
Yeah.
do plantings.
Yeah, and what I'm gonna say is, with diligence, if you keep cutting Phragmites, you will win, even without spraying. Even,
50 years and going, but yeah, but got it.
you're allowed to cut it. You can cut Phragmites.
You cut them down.
You can cut Phragmites, just Phragmites. But,
So they could go in there and they could clean the brush, not the brush.
no, they cannot clean the brush. That's my point.
That's what.
That's
I'm
my-
making sure that I'm clear.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
I'm
wetland.
never gonna go in there ever. I would build this wall.
I bet.
I'm almost done building the house. I'm gonna build this wall and leave. I don't care what they do with this, to be honest with you. I don't even like the tree. Has nothing to do with me. I just want to help them get the tree so it doesn't fall on the house.
Could we kindly separate these issues? Because I'm getting like awfully confused. So one, we have a tree.
Yeah.
You know, to either let them to take it down and move it out or let them lie there, let it lie there.
Is there a
Right.
problem with the tree lying there? I
can see where, you probably wouldn't. want the
Yeah, I
tree
think
lying
it's just
there.
a,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them taking. the
me
tree,
either.
But I have a problem with them messing with the undergrowth that's there. And I like Jim's idea if there are two, I don't remember those trees,
Right.
Yeah.
but if
Right.
there are two trees there
Yeah,
that he's identified, they're already there.
They're
already
there.
growing.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
20-foot trees already. They're little skinnies.
Yeah.
But he says,
Let
when
them-
you cut this, you're gonna open up a lot of sunlight, those trees are gonna explode, so.
I think the idea of beautifying a non-disturbed, see, the difference with the last application, that area, we've been out there in the field, that's already a disturbed area.
Yeah.
We're trying to create some help for that upland
Sure.
review area. Here, I mean, there obviously has been some disturbance, the boulders, the blah, 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 but in that area where that tree is, it was pretty okay.
It is,
I
not
mean,
bad.
it's ugly if you like a mowed lawn, but it's, yeah,
And again, that doesn't matter to me, I'm gonna make the other part of the land good.
there you go.
Well, it doesn't matter to me at all.
So I guess,
Other than the tree.
Yeah. I would be in favor of just giving them a permit to cut the tree and remove everything above the stump, however high they want it. And then that's pretty much all I'm gonna feel comfortable here.
I think they would be happy with that.
But I'm only one vote, so you guys, if you don't want the tree to get taken
What
away.
about the, so you're saying,
convince
well, what
somebody-
about the Phragmites? You know,
Well, that's, they can do anything they want because that's not.
and they
in
can
the
cut that.
Upland review area.
Well, it is.
No,
It is
It
technically,
is.
but
Oh,
I don't think anybody's going to trouble them if they go
Cut
out
the,
there with their loppers and cut Phragmites.
Well, that's what they do, they don't make it in trouble. They wanna do the right
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why we're here.
Well, we could certainly, do they know how to identify Phragmites?
It's pretty easy, and you can put a seed potato on it.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you're right, the round the tree is, it's not bad, it's sort of nice looking, halfway decent land. It's just this general area right here that's the high, they're not the ugliest thing in the world, but I know that
All right.
they do kind
Well, I
of
can
take
give,
off.
I'll.
do we
I'll
add that to a
give-
motion that they're allowed to
I'll give, they can have a permit to hand cut.
hand cut the Phragmites?
Oh,
They'll be happy
and don't
because,
worry about the
and
planting.
just tell them,
Although if they want to put those plants in without removing anything, that's,
good luck, but.
sure, but I mean, that's not,
Probably
yeah.
not
Yeah,
a
good luck.
reasonable thing to happen, right?
You're probably not having good,
Well, you're gonna climb under a cricket tree to plant.
yeah,
That's not-
that's.
And we're agreed the tree can come down and
Well, we're gonna have a
material.
motion. So we're gonna send a motion over.
Yeah, sorry. I'm already modifying it as we speak. Because as you will see, the one condition I had on here is that, the planting plan that Jim Cowan presented last time, it, be followed. All right, but that includes planting all of these native shrubs. And then I think we could also add one additional one that is that the Phragmites, may be removed by hand only or hand tools.
And there's no reason they can't put those plants inside their new stone fence.
Right, I mean, yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, landscaping frankly is not something that's not regulated by you guys anyway, so.
Um,
I'm reading this. Now we have to make changes to this, don't we?
so remind me what Jim Cowan said about the removal of invasive plants. So, because you cite that in number one.
So, right, so, okay, let me just read you his steps.
Thanks.
Okay, number one, 2 native saplings shall be protected with orange construction fencing or equivalent. Red maple shall be removed with a stump left in place. Invasive non-native plant species in the upland review area shall be identified by a qualified professional and eradicated or removed. Acceptable methods of removal are brush cutting and basal herbicide application, hand pulling, torching, and or herbicide application. All work in wetland and adjacent banks shall be done by hand. Herbicide application shall be performed by a licensed professional. Any herbicide used for invasive eradication or control shall be approved for use in wetlands. Disposal of invasive plant material shall comply with Connecticut DEP guidelines for disposal of terrestrial invasive plants, and I'm not going to do the rest of that one. Install trees, shrubs at 4 to 6 on center and wildflowers in groupings 1 to 3 feet on center. Per the planting plan, seed disturbed soils in the upland review area with New England conservation wildlife mix.
It's a little contradictory because he said everything should be by hand, but then you could brush cut.
Is what he said. That is true. Well, then that's,
Yeah.
put it in there.
Yeah.
Any work in the upland, within the 40-foot upland review area shall be by hand.
So the plantings
Aside
and
from the
wetland
tree.
and upland review area and the removal. So no offense, but I don't think I like that sentence.
Shall be by hand only?
Yeah.
Sure.
The plantings in the wetland and upland review area and the removal of invasive plants
Shall be
Shall
accomplished
be-
by hand only, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
and follow the plan developed by
Okay.
James. Yeah, okay. Thanks so much, Deb. I'm so sorry.
This is a draft motion.
Oh, yeah, I see that. I see that.
Right.
Big words there.
Yep.
So then we don't even need number 2 because we're accomplishing number 1.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And so then that leaves you to, you can decide if you still want to put plants that much in the wetland. But the invasive species will be identified by someone that knows what they're looking at and removed by hand only. You're gonna write no herbicides or just leave that. Yeah, if they paint it on, it's probably okay. He said,
Use a
paint.
chainsaw.
He said, paint.
Licensed professional.
You might need it for Phragmites. All right. I guess I'll make the motion against. No, I don't need to make the motion because. No, I'll make the motion. This is a motion to approve the Brown Homestead Inland Wetlands 23-0249 Prospect Street for the removal of a red maple within the upland review area. Motion to approve the application for the following reasons. The tree will be cut to ground level, leaving the stump and roots in place, which will limit disturbance adjacent to the wetland. Native plantings will be installed in the upland review area and wetland, and invasive non-native species will be removed by hand. Wetlands will not be lost as a result of this application. This permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions and the following modifications. The planting in the wetlands and upland review area and the removal of invasive plants shall be done by hand and shall follow the plan developed by James Cowan dated March 9th, 2023.
I have a question. If they decide not to remove anything other than the tree, is that okay?
You bet.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, they
And
don't
if
even
they
have to
decide-
remove the tree, frankly.
And if
You
they
just-
decide
yes,
down the
they have a
road,
permit.
they want to remove the stuff, they don't have to come back and get permission, they can do it.
Permit's good for
Yeah.
10
10
years.
years.
Okay, perfect, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect, great.
Anybody want to second that?
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the Brown Home 49 Prospect Street for the removal of a red maple tree and plantings within the upland review area. And removal of
just read it.
invasive species.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those in
As
favor,
read.
signify by saying aye. I'm exhausted.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Oh, no, there's page 2. Is there anything on page 2?
The tree looks so little here until you look at this other picture. It's gigantic.
Oh, yeah, I read all this.
Really?
I'm very good, Deb. I'm very good. I forgot all about it, but I did read it when I sent it. Okay, other new, excuse me, oh, this is all new business, our first new business. Any other old business?
No.
The zoning text amendment application, it's a courtesy referral, but we got a long blurb.
Right.
about Cannabis and.
So,
it's-
yeah, so there are 2 text amendments that are going to public hearing next month. One is to allow certain cannabis uses in certain zones under certain circumstances, as is outlined in what you have. And then the other one is to modify the accessory dwelling unit section of the zoning regulations to come into compliance with state statute that was passed in 2021. Essentially, it allows the accessory dwelling unit to now be up to 1,000 square feet as opposed to 800, and then addresses parking.
So it's, we don't really have jurisdiction over this. but-
And it probably doesn't have any wetland impact, but this
Right,
went
doesn't
out to
have-
all agencies. Yeah, exactly.
But I always like to say, thank you for referring this to us. Good job.
Is there any dispensary for marijuana in Groton yet?
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is.
Is it next to that new bar?
No,
barn?
no, 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 no. It's up across from Walmart.
Oh, really?
Right
Yeah.
across the street.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, we permitted that as a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Across the street.
a pharmacy. Why
Yeah, you
not?
have to have a prescription, you know.
At one
it's-
time it was, right? You had to have a.
You still do. That one is only
Right.
dispensing medical
That's right.
marijuana at this
Oh.
point.
Okay.
Yep.
Do they plan to do regular?
They probably will make
Yeah,
application to become a
sure.
hybrid dealer, right? So you can do recreational as well as medical.
All right, I don't have any reports. Anybody have any reports? Staff?
Nope.
Nope. Anybody want to say anything else tonight?
No.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
All right, 8:12, it looks like.
8:12.
Right.
Looks like.
Night, Courtney.
Good night.
Thanks,
Night.
Courtney.